Hello and welcome to Le Mans Ultimate. We are here in the multi-class series here in Interlagos. The first time we've raced Interlagos, which is really good. We've not raced Interlagos before, so it is the GT3 drivers that will be the first out on track. How are we all? I cannot wait for this one. It should be an absolute cracker. Let me know if the audio's okay, guys. Remember, I won't be able to hear the games. If there's any issues with the audio, please let me know. Other than that, I hope everybody has a great race. I hope everybody has a great stream. And hopefully you'll like everything we've got to show you tonight. So we've got the track map to the right now, and as you can see, it's all updated. I cannot wait to show you guys. So the GT3 drivers, Mikhail Brits will be the first driver out on track, so leading this circuit. So Mikhail Brits in the Porsche. Yeah, Forza. Honestly, you guys are going to be so impressed. George Benham is out on track. Let's go, Dookie. Yeah. Honestly, you guys are going to be so impressed, honestly. I've been working for the last 2 hours to make this right for tonight. So, a lot of GT3 drivers out on track today. We are on board with George Benham. Massimo Martinelli just behind as well. I think Massimo's just moved in front as we come around turn 5 up towards turn 6. We do have Josh Harper-Jones. He is on a lap. So, the Porsche driver lighting up the first sector as he comes down towards turn 4. So through turn 4 and 5 we go. And then there's the driver stopped. Yeah, he is stopped, but the green flag is still waving for the GT3s just to let them know that they can begin qualifying. Hey, salute, mate. Wait till you see everything else. So, Josh Harper-Jones in the Porsche, coming around turn 14, down towards turn 15. Josh Harper-Jones will be the first driver to set his banker lap. And it is a 1:46.3, so a decent lap for him. So we can see on the timings, that's where Josh Harper-Jones sits at the moment. As you can see, the other drivers just coming towards the line now, showing 12 of the 13 cars. This is for the fastest lap. A 1:45.531 for Arnie Brandhorst that now leads the way by 1.8 seconds. You can see there's a considerable gap to the drivers behind at the moment. But we shall see what the other cars bring to the table. We've got the number 4 driver, that's Mikhail Brits, I think. Just coming around turn 15, we'll see where he puts this Porsche in comparison to the other drivers. Mikhail Brits to the line, and he didn't post a lap. George Benham as well, and then we have the number 7 of Marcel Fuchs. So Marcel Fuchs will try to improve. So we are on board with Marcel. In towards turn 12. There's a 20% chance of light rain at the end. So up towards the line for Marcel Fuchs. And he goes up to P2. Brilliant lap. So Marcel, Josh Harper-Jones now down to P3. We've got a load of drivers coming through now. Marek Odolos in the Ferrari will be next. There's George Benham that moves up to P2. George Benham, Marek Odlos moves up to P4, 2.9 is the gap. There goes Kai Elshoff going up to P4 in the McLaren, 2.5 off provisional pole. So 2.7 now as Massimo Martinello in the Ford Mustang. A brilliant lap from Massimo Martinello. That is what we want to see. So Jamie Brasser got Stefano Lavarone in the BMW just coming up towards turn 10. And then down towards turn 11 at the left-hander. You can see the way he's just gearing up for it. So what can Stefano do in that BMW M4? Game crashed. Oh no, his game crashed. So around the big sweeping long left-hander for Stefano Lavarone. And we can have a look at the session best at the moment. So the Ford Mustang of Massimo is just in front of Arnie Brandhorst. George Benham. George Benham in the Porsche with a 142.5 puts it 1.5 tenths in front of Massimo. So a great lap from him. That is what we were waiting for. A very, very good lap. Marek goes up to P10. Arnie, and then we've got a couple more drivers. Jan Wagner, that is Jen Audi in the Mercedes. Then you've got Jaden Grottenhaus, the Dutchman, in the other BMW. Then there was another driver, that I think that was Mikhail Brits, that just went up in towards the centre S's at turn 1. And he is up to P4, 0.8. Look at that, 0.037 between Massimo and George Benham. It is going to be absolute fireworks in this race if that's how close the timings are already. Jaden goes up to P8. He moves in front of Kai Elshoff in the McLaren. Marcel Fuchs is only 0.083 behind Jan Wagner, who goes in the Mercedes, up to P5. So this is extremely close on the grid. This is what we want to see, drivers this close. So, as you can see, let's have a look at the fastest laps. So that's how it sits at the moment. As you can see, look how close they are to the line. Look at the half a second mark. You've got 3 drivers, and then you've got Massimo and George right on the brink of the line, just separated by 37 1/1000ths of a second. And then you've got Marcel, Mikhail, Jean, Josh Harper-Jones, and then just twindles off to around 3 seconds at the back, where Jaden Stefano moves up to P9. And then Kai Elshoff coming through. He is now in P7, so really good to see. What about Emmanuel Hamilton? He is now on track, just nicking a little bit of a slipstream from the driver in front. And then down the inside of the Ford Mustang. Did he see him? I don't think he did. So riding on board with Emmanuel Hamilton. I tell you, so with a lot of work over the past 2 hours and a bit of money, we managed to get these on. Stefano in the BMW. Just coming around turn 10 down towards turn 11. And Arnie Brandhorst, Marcel Fuchs. Half a second separate the top 4 drivers here in Interlagos. And then we do have the LMP2s to race on this circuit shortly. Vanda, thanks for joining on TikTok. I hope you enjoy the race as the Ferrari pulls over of Marcel I do wonder if any of the other drivers are starting to improve. Arnie Brandhorst is on an outlap. George Benham, Massimo is already out on track as he's coming down towards turn 12. Absolutely so, Leah. So we can see the lap time log from the driver, a 1:42.5 and then a 1:42.7. Let's have a look at George. He's set 3 laps now. His fastest was his second run at 1:42.551. Arnie Brandhorst as well has done 3 laps, his fastest being his very first lap with a 1:42.7. So he will be looking to improve on them lap times shortly. And then you got a couple of drivers who are sort of in the... you can see Jan has only recorded 1 lap time, so he'll be looking to go again. So 0.3 of a second separate the top 4 now. Look how close this is. Soon enough, we will see the LMP2s out on track. I hope all the drivers have a good race. I hope all the teams that may be watching, or all the engineers that might be watching, have a good one as well. I hope you enjoy the stream here tonight. This is what it's all about. We want to be the very best at what we do. We already do that with Formula 1. Now we're going to try and do that with Le Mans Ultimate as well. So I think Marcel does have a little bit of traffic behind him. I don't think they're on a lap, but I do think Jamie Brass is on a lap. So the BMW driver, he is coming around turn 12 and 13 now. He will put pedal to the metal as we move down towards the line. Not long left. Remember, rain is expected at the end of qualifying, which might throw a spanner in the works for the LMP2 drivers. Really interesting stuff about to happen. There is a connection issue with the flags, according to Richard Tychak. Are my flags up as well? I think they are, yeah. So Jamie Brass is back into the pit lane. What about Massimo Martinello? He is just starting a lap as he comes down Retta Apposta. How are we doing, Donny? You okay? And he's just weaving, so he's not on a lap. What about George Benham as we come around turn 10 and down towards turn 11 for the Porsche driver? The man from, is it TDR or AERT? I think it's AERT. As we come through at turn 12. And I don't know if he's actually on a lap at the moment, so we'll jump on board with Arnie Brandhorst. No, he's not on a lap. What about Mikhail Brits? He's still in the pit lane. Jan Wagner is on his way out. Yeah, decent connecting. I'm good, Donny. I'm good, mate. I'm hoping these overlays work okay throughout the whole race. So 0.8 of a second separate the top 5 drivers here in Interlagos. The top 2 separated by 37/1000 with only 2 minutes to go. The majority of the grid is out on track, and that is Jan that will start his. What about Marek Odlos in the Ferrari that will be next, coming around turn 13? Is he on a lap? So Marek in P12, we do have the number 7 and the number 13 of Emmanuel Hamilton. So Emmanuel starting his lap. Then we've got Josh Harper-Jones also in the Porsche as Josh Harper-Jones comes to the line to start his lap. Then you've got George Benham. George Benham goes provisional pole by 0.3 of a second. George Benham has now started to arrive. We'll keep the fastest laps up and see how close these are. Arnie, 25 1/1000ths behind George Benham. My goodness me, have we seen a closer qualifying this season? You've got Jaden Grottenhaus in the BMW as well that will come to the line. Where will he put it? And he does not improve. The number 9 and then the number 3. Massimo Martinello is going to be to the line next. Is he going to be able to take that pole position back away from George Benham? He does. Massimo with a magnificent lap. 30 seconds remaining. 0.8 clear. That's a huge jump on the grid. Next up, Marek Odlos in the Ferrari. So, a couple more to the grid. The other drivers will be given the green flag. My flag system isn't working. Josh Harper-Jones will move up to P4. Oh, look at that. Massimo and George Benham is half a second clear. And he comes through. Massimo is now down to P3. How we doing? Yeah, I know, mate, I know. So, the LMP2 drivers will be back out, but I think that might be qualifying done by the GT3s. No, Kai Elshoff goes up to P8. There is still more in the tank from some of these drivers. Massimo has done it again. 0.2 of a second to pole position. Marcel Fuchs is into P4. Then you've got the final driver of Jan Wagner who goes into the pit lane. I think Marek is also going into the pit lane. And then there's a driver, I think Kai Elshoff. Hopefully he's not on a lap. He shouldn't be anyway. The timing has gone well and truly. So that is it for the GT3s. So we will move on to the LMP2 drivers and see what they can do. So, Conor Garrett, the first of the LMP2s with Marin Kitagawa behind him. Nicholas Duncan also on a lap. Then Richard Tajak. And these two are going racing. Marin Kitagawa has given no room to Conor Garrett here on his qualifying lap. He's literally touching him as they go through. Surely you've got to give space to the driver in front to post a lap. But that is very close. And Marin Kitagawa might just be round here. Has he gone back into the pit lane? He has. Maybe screwed up his own lap, who knows. But yeah, a little bit spicy already from the drivers. So it will be Conor Garrett that will get his lap first. Marin looks very quick as well, straight off the mark. Shurikan, good luck to the drivers. Yes, Daniel Krieger, thank you, mate. While the 6-7's off the pace. There is no tiers in LMU here in F7 at the moment, so unfortunately it's not designed by pace. It is just a free-for-all at the moment. But we do have 2 LMU races every single week. We are looking to separate it into tiers once we've got enough drivers. Once we have enough drivers on the grid, we will do a tier-based division for LMU. Faster drivers in tier 1, slower drivers in tier 2, and so on and so on. So it is coming, but you've got to remember LMU has only been part of F7 since February, and we are doing our very, very best to try and get it up and running for every single week. We are doing weekly races for on Mondays and Thursdays. Yes, Marcel, slightly wet track, says King Brits. So Conor Garrett to the line first. He sets a 1:35.2, and then Richard Tychak, the championship leader, a 1:34.4. P6 says Emmanuel. Peter Peterson up to P7. So Richard Tychak, Deco Slater 3.7 clear. Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous, the space between the drivers at the moment. So we shall see what it's like. Marin and Allen on outlaps now. So Kevin S straight into P2, and we'll try and get on board with some of the other drivers. Razvan Doplikanu is on a lap, so we ride on board with Razvan to see what he can do as he goes up towards turn 7 and 8. Deco's a pink livery. He does, Marcel, he does. Razvan, Aguri Cap. Conor Garrett, Arthur Woods, they are getting quicker and quicker. In fact, let's take a look how close they are on the fastest lap track map. So look at that, Arthur Woods, nearly 9 tenths clear at the moment. Then Conor Garrett, Deco Slater, Tamamo, Cross, Richard Tychak, Kevin Estray, Donovan, Des Sell, Nicholas Duncan, Peter Peterson, Aguri Cap, who goes up to P4, Conor Garrett, then Arthur Woods, Razvan Doplikanu up to P2, getting ever so closer by 8/100ths of a second. Kevin Estray now down to P9 and Donovan Desel into P10. Nicholas Duncan, Marin Kitagawa and Alan Barovsky, the Polish driver, with not yet setting a lap, and so is Marin Kitagawa, but he's just coming around turn 14. Down towards the line we go now, and this is where he should be able to move up the grid, and Marin Kitagawa only to P11 and still 4 seconds off of that time. Arthur Woods currently on provisional pole by 8/100ths of a second. How we doing, Kai? So Richard now into P1 with 10 minutes of this qualifying session remaining. Deco Slater, 3 tenths clear. That did not last long. So Deco Slater back into provisional pole. So let's have a look at the lap timing logs and have a look for somebody like Deco Slater. It's his 3rd lap. His fastest lap was his 2nd. Then you've got Richard, who's also done 3 laps, but his fastest lap was his 3rd lap, so his most recent lap. And Razvan Doplikanu. So yeah, you can see how they're all getting quicker and quicker. Every time they post a lap, it's quicker than the last. So it's really interesting to see the drivers just continuously improving. So Donovan on his way back out of the pit lane. Nicholas Duncan needs to find a little bit extra in the tank. Hope you're well. Anybody that's watching on Twitch and TikTok, I hope you enjoy the Le Mans Ultimate Race here in Formula 7 Racing. It is Deco Slater that is currently on provisional pole with 8 minutes to go. So I'm just taking a picture of the qualifying results for the GT3s. Because you know what I like to do, I like to capture all of the data for every single race that we do and give you back that data and stats. Deco 7 times clear. I know Marcel, it's pretty Fuchs. So Deco Slater on pole position, Aguri Cap in P2, and then Richard Tajak in P3, the Slovakian Wonder Kid in P3, and there goes Arthur Woods up to P2, 3 tenths behind Deco Slater. So it is heating up, and it is not long till we finish this qualifying session now. And down the inside goes Arthur Woods. Right, Marin Kitagawa. He needs something special here because he's 9 seconds away from pole position. That is not normal for Marin Kitagawa. And that was Kevin Estre that did improve. Richard now down to P5. Here comes Marin with that anime livery that he does love to wear. And Marin goes P11. There we go. He does find that extra time in. So Razvan Dobrakanu into P2. Deco Slater now half a second place. So it has been reduced slightly. Let's take a look. So this is how close it is with that 3-second gap. 6 minutes remaining in qualifying here in Interlagos for the Brazilian Grand Prix. But you can see the rest of the grid are really close. You've got Aguri only. Oh, and that is Aguri that goes up to P2. Just behind Razvan and Deco Slater. Not even 2 tenths separate the top 3. Look how close that is. Then you've got Peterson, moves up to P4. Wow. So the top 3 separated by less than 2 tenths of a second with 5 minutes remaining. Unbelievable stuff, Jeff. Lock in Deco, says Marcel. They're being rooted on from the sidelines. Saying, get a move on. You've got work to do. Richard is going to come around turn 14 and 15 with that gold and black Slovakian livery draped on the LMP2 when he goes up to P4. 3 tenths behind pole position. Look how close these drivers are now. 10 1,000 separate Conor Garrett and Peter Peterson. Then you've got Arthur Woods only a tenth, 2 tenths behind, and there we go. Arthur Woods moves up to P4. The top 5 separated by 3 tenths. You can see it in the track map in the top left. It is extremely close on this circuit right now. Guys, remember, please let me know if the audio's okay, because I have to switch between F1 and LMU, so sometimes it does mess up a little bit, so do let me know. So 4 minutes remaining. You've got Deco Slater on another lap. So we'll ride on board with Deco Slater. Down in towards turn 7 goes the pole competitor. And that is Tamamo Cross P6. This is so close. It's great to watch. There we go. Marin Kitagawa now improves even more up to P11. Hey, thank you, Marcel. We're always trying to get better, trying to improve. I really wanted that track map up to the right as well, which we managed to do, which is really good. So, riding on board with Deco Slater. So, to the line we go. Deco Slater from P3 will find a little bit more. He will. Provisional pole by 5/10 of a second. My, oh my. That is incredible. Look at that livery on Deco Slater. Richard coming down in towards turn 4 at the end of Reto Aposta. No, sorry, he's in the pit lane, and now he's on his way back out with just under 3 minutes to go. Kevin Estre will be the next driver to the line. He's currently sitting in P9. Now he's in P8. Then we've got Tamamo Cross. He goes up to P4. Tamamo Cross has improved as well. The number 3 of Razvan Doplicanu, the number 48 driver, will start his final run. Conor Garrett, the number 3 driver, currently in P9, goes into the pit lane. Then you've got Nicholas Duncan, the number 30 driver, starting his lap. But it is the pole sitter of Deco Slater that is coming around and potentially will get a little bit more in front. So Deco Slater, he's already leading by 5/10 of a second. And oh my God, he's now 9/10 clear. This is pure domination. Alin Borowski moves up to P7. And that is Aguri Cap. 4/10 behind Deco Slater, 4.56 behind Deco Slater. He's now P2. And the number 7 driver of Tamamo Cross will cross the line. He's 1.2 behind Deco here in this qualifying session that is about to end. And Tamamo Cross will go up to P3, 8.92 behind. We've got a few drivers coming through. Richard, your championship leader, to the line. Just makes it for his final run. Marin Kitagawa is up to P8. Here comes Nicholas Duncan. We know how good Nicholas can be. Will he show it here in Interlagos? Arthur Woods might have half a chance. And Deco Slater surely is not going to move further ahead. Surely he's not going to find a little bit more here in qualifying. He is untouchable at the moment. Aguri Cap. And that is it. 10 seconds remaining of qualifying. There will be no more chances. What about the South African of Donovan Daysel in the LMP2 to the line? And Donovan just makes the checkered flag. So Razvan Doplicanu, the Romanian driver, down in towards turn 12. The checkered flag has waved. There will be no more chances. This is it. Your final chance to set a lap and to possibly start on the front row. Razvan will know more than most how that feels. But will it be today? It will not. 0.6 behind pole. Then you've got Marin Kitagawa. Only 3 drivers left on track. Deco Slater is in the pit lane. So is Razvan. Aguri's still out there. Marin's in. What about Kevin Estre? He will come through and possibly move up the grid. He's currently in P10. And that is where he will stay. The other driver pulls over. So it's just Donovan, which I don't think he will improve either. And I think that is qualifying over. It looks like Deco Slater will take pole position here in Brazil by 0.5 of a second. My God. We do have Donovan still out on a lap, but you know, a lot of these drivers, this will be their first time playing LMU. You know, it might be their first time joining a league race. So it's all a learning curve for them. It's a learning curve for us. We're still getting used to it, and we're still getting into the sort of swing of things. So I do appreciate everybody being here, the support and the love that we've had for our Le Mans Ultimate tier as well. So yeah, thank you everybody. But yeah, what a great qualifying session. "26 drivers on track today. 13 LMP2s, 13 GT3s.
Teams and drivers go to the grid for a race start.
Here we go. Qualifying over, and the race is going to start to get underway here in Brazil with that short formation lap. I will try and bring up the full classes a minute. So bear with me. I will try and bring up the full classes so you can see them all. So the GTE is our safety car. I don't know why it's only bringing up 3 of the GT3s and 13 of the LMP2s, but I will try and sort that out as I'm still getting used to it myself. So, oh, there we go. Beautiful. That's what we wanted. See? Hey, we got there in the end. Solo, I'm not sure, mate. I've not looked yet.
Formation lap has started.
Formation lap has started here in Interlagos, Brazil. This is going to be an unbelievable race. It's going to be a great race start. I cannot wait to see what these drivers do. It looks like the night is already setting. And the drivers are going to have a beautiful circuit to play around with for the next 60 minutes of racing. Deco Slater will get us underway as he creeps up towards the line. You can see the GT3 drivers in the distance. George Benham, Massimo Martinello, Porsche and Ford Mustang. And then we have these LMP2s in front of them, and then the safety car in the GTE. Here we go. For round 7 here at Formula 7 Racing, and it is green and racing here in Interlagos. The LMP2 drivers. It is Aguri Cap that chases down Deco Slater into the centre S's. There's a driver into the wall, but I think he's going to carry on. Wow, driver of the race, and he's already spun him. And the GT3 drivers, the LMP2s, are all over the place. The GT3 drivers have got to be careful, and so have the LMP2s. That is George Benham and Massimo Martinello that squabble for position, and that is Marin that nearly wipes out half the grid. My goodness me, Marin is around, and once again having a torrid start to the race as a full course yellow comes out, and the LMP2 drivers are sliding around like they're on ice. What is going on? Once again, Marin really struggling in that car. So full course yellow, as that just neutralises the grid. That was Tamamo as well. Then you had Donovan, Arnie Brandhorst in the GT3s, then Jamie Brass. George Benham is still leading to Massimo, to Marcel, to Josh Harper-Jones, but it is Deco Slater that leads to Aguri Cap. But then I've got to say, watching them LMP2s go through the centre S's there, I don't know why they're so impatient. I've seen them just squeezing through and not giving space, and then swiped out the other guy, and it's like, come on guys, this isn't an open lobby race. Let's respect each other. Give people the space. It's not a sprint. You're going to get 1 hour to try and get the move done. You don't need to try and rush it. You don't need to try and, squeeze people and try and get through like it's now or never kind of situation. It's an endurance race. You've got 60 minutes to try and get it done. So we are going racing again. Here we go. Richard down the inside. Oh, and that's the LMP2 driver of Razvan that nearly loses it again. The Romanian nearly takes out Richard. They've been in the stewards room a few times this season. That is Massimo on the back of George Benham. The other drivers are extremely close on this circuit. Kevin Estre now chasing down the two drivers in front that nearly collided just a moment ago, as Razvan 2/10 behind Richard Tajciak as he comes into the slipstream of the driver that breaks the air in front of him as we go down in towards turn 1. Is he going to go for the late lunge? I hope not, and he doesn't. He's just a little bit more patient here tonight, which is good to see. Kai Elshoff on Josh Harper-Jones, McLaren versus Porsche. Then you've got Donovan Daysell, Peter Peterson, yellow sector 3. I think it is Marin again. Marin Kitagawa really struggles in these cars. He's just, yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on with Marin at the moment, because you know he's a good driver, but he's just not finding that form. So that is George Benham who goes through turn 4 in front of Massimo. Then you have Stefano Lavarone. Richard has been overtaken by Razvan. And then back down the inside goes Richard. Is he going to switch it to the other side? He is. He's trying his luck. Side by side racing once more by these two fantastic competitors. Wow, what a battle we have. Yellow sector 2. And look at this up the inside again. Richard as he collides with Razvan. And through goes Kevin Estre. Kevin Estre with the overtake. Incredible stuff. There we have it. Now back to the GT3s as Marcel Fuchs will try his luck on Josh Harper-Jones. The Ferrari man flashing away with the McLaren just on his tail. The McLaren gets the better exit. The yellow flag in sector 2 is still out. But we're going to have a three-way GT3 battle as you come around turn 14 and 15. Kai Elshoff, Marcel Fuchs and Josh Harper-Jones as Kai Elshoff makes a move on the Ferrari as we go around turn 15 down in towards turn 1 at the centre S's. The Ferrari goes later on the brakes, wheel to wheel once more, and they don't know, they collide. Wow, just turned in a little bit too early and not great racing once more. Yeah, not really sure. It's a prime example there. Why are you not just going a little bit wider there? But hey, we are going to have collisions. It's a race at the end of the day, but I just feel like a lot of them are so avoidable. Here we go. This is for the lead of the GT3s. George Benham and Massimo Martinello are scrapping it out here in Interlagos. Massimo does have the fastest lap in that Ford Mustang, and he is really putting the heat on George Benham. And we have the LMP2s of Marin and Tamamo. Marin is into the pit lane. Donovan Daysell. You've got Nicholas Duncan. But it is the GT3s of Stefano and Kai Elshoff. Wait, I know why it's wet. The track is near wet. So the track is wet. I'm hearing that the track is wet. So is that causing problems for the drivers? I do wonder if that is what's happening. And down the inside goes Massimo for the lead of the race. Massimo versus George in towards turn 1. The Porsche leaves the space. That is how you race. And Massimo's going to do the same now as the Ford Mustang gets the better exit out of turn 2. Down Retro-Aposta. He'll have that slipstream. You can see the head-to-head on your screen now as the Ford Mustang moves back into the slipstream so he can get that extra bit of pace. As we go down in towards turn 4, the Ford Mustang will go around the outside. He'll go later on the brakes. The Porsche is defending and Massimo holds on. And they're getting their elbows out here after 7 minutes of racing. And then the drivers behind, that is Peter Peterson that is moving back through the grid to try and catch back up with the pack. Kevin Estre and Richard, and that is a driver off the track. I think that might be Nicholas Duncan. It's not. I think it was somewhere. I think it was Marin again. So yeah, not sure. Really not sure what's going on here. Yellow sector 2. Yeah, Tamamo is a lap down. Jamie Brass is a lap down. How has that happened? Oh, Jamie's in the pit lane. That might be it for Jamie. Yeah, I think he's out of this race. That's a real shame because Jamie never DNFs. He always tries to finish the race. So here goes Nicholas and Razvan. The track is damp. Oh yeah, I bet the drivers are struggling like hell. Yeah, I was hoping that we could get some real good racing, but it looks like with the conditions of the circuit, it's going to be very difficult. As Marin is already 2 laps down after 8 minutes of racing. I think, is Marin out? No, Marin's still on track. Fair play to him. I just hope he stops spinning. There goes Kai Elshoff on Stefano. BMW versus McLaren, and it is the number 85 driver of Kai Elshoff, the Dutchman, in the McLaren that will move on through. Will Stefano go late on the brakes? He won't. He backs out and just slots in behind him, and he is happy to just wait it out and be patient at this point in the race. Kai Elshoff, who won on his debut, is through and up to P6. Now look at George Benham and Massimo. 3 tenths is the gap between the 2 race leaders. Here in Brazil, it is the Porsche of the number 91 driver that does lead to Massimo, the number 88 driver. But even with these 2 battling at the front, they are still able to make up time on Josh Harper-Jones, who is 3 seconds back. And then on board with the LMP2 is Richard Tajciak, the championship leader, behind Conor Garrett as they go down towards turn 14. Sorry, they're going down in towards turn 7 and 8. My mistake. So George Benham and Massimo. This is going to be another tasty exchange between the pair of them. The Ford Mustang has the inside line, and he does go for it, and into the lead goes Massimo. George is holding on the inside. The Porsche and the Mustang collide again. Wow. They are really going at it, and this is going to give a great opportunity to Josh Harper-Jones to catch up. And these drivers are giving it everything. So, down in towards turn 4 we go. And the leaders, there goes Arnie Brandhorst on Emmanuel Hamilton. That LMP2 scoots on through. And now up the inside goes the Porsche driver. The Ferrari leaves the space, but Arnie cannot get through. And it will be Emmanuel Hamilton that just stays ahead for the moment. And then back on board with the leaders. Massimo 2 tenths in front of that Porsche driver of George. The LMP2s are sort of neutralised at the moment, but Conor Garrett is still there with Kevin Estre, and there goes Razvan Dobroganu, the Romanian driver on the Slovakian. Will he make the move around the outside of turn 4? They are both off the track, like Hamilton and Verstappen-esque in 2021. They are pushed wide. It is a bit naughty, you're absolutely right. So we can see the drivers at the moment. On the fastest laps. So let's have a look at the weather and see where we're up to. So that is the weather at the moment. Track wetness. It does say mostly dry, but it is still very damp. Track temperature 28.3. There's a number 10 driver. That is Peter Peterson that I think stopped on track. He did. That's what caused the yellow flag. We are back green and back racing. yellow sector 1, yellow sector 2. And I think that might be the GT3s. Marek Odlos moves on through, and it is Donovan in the LMP2 that made the mistake. And then we've got Peter Peterson again, who's struggling. No, it was Donovan, yeah. And the GT3 is fighting with the LMP2s. We don't see that every day. Interesting stuff. Thank you very much. George now half a second behind. You've got Arnie on Stefano. Conor Garrett 2/10 behind Kevin Estre. And this is a freeway fight. Oh, he took out the GT3. Conor Garrett, I think that was Richard that went through. Was that Razvan? I think it was Razvan. Yellow sector 2, a GT3 driver is taken out of this race. And the drivers just did not know where their braking points were, and this damp track is causing all sorts of problems. This is not what we want to see. There goes Stefano on Arnie. Arnie is through. Then you've got the LMP2 driver of Donovan that is trying to squeeze past the both of them. And he just cuts out wide. He's trying to leave the space for Marek in that McLaren. Sorry, in the Ferrari. Green flag, we are back racing. What about George Benham? It has been very scrappy, hasn't it? It's been a very scrappy race. But luckily we've not had a safety car yet. I do wonder if that's what some of the drivers are waiting for to get back in this race. If there is a big crash, the safety car will come out and the drivers will group back up. George, will he go for that move up the inside? He doesn't, but he's getting very, very close to the back of that Mustang. Blue flag waving. I think that's an LMP2 behind them. It is. We'll have to be careful now as the driver's just flashing. I wonder who that is. There we go up the inside as we go down in towards turn at 12 through. And that might have compromised Massimo as George Benham will make a move. He does through turn 13 and 14 before Mustang is holding on. Then you've got a couple more LMP2s starting to catch up to them. But it'll be an easy overtake as the Ford Mustang driver might have to contend with a couple more LMP2s as he comes through sector 1. Conor Garrett is into the pit lane, potentially for fresh rubbers. So Jamie Brass and Ginaudi are both out. Yellow sector 1. Back to green, and you can see the gaps for the drivers. Marek with Emmanuel Hamilton, and then you've got Razvan on Richard. I do worry about Razvan and Richard. They have been in the stewards room against each other on 5 separate occasions. I think it's 5 already this season, so I know that there's hostility between the both of them, but they are They are mature drivers, they are very fair drivers, and I'm sure that won't bother them here today in their race for the title. And Connor, Garrett and Donovan are going to try and go through, and then you've got Tamamo Cross. Remember, points go down to P15. Kitagawa, who is a couple of laps down and trying an overtake as the LMP2 driver went off the track. Who was that? There was an LMP2 driver that went off the track, and that was the number 10 of Connor Garrett. No, sorry, it was the GT3. Jeez, it's really hard to keep up with these guys. I think it was Marek. Yes, it's really difficult sometimes to keep track of them, and I am getting used to the colours as well. The energy of the GT3s. So 4 attempts between Kai Elshoff and Arnott. So Deco Slater still leads in the LMP2s. He's 8 seconds clear of Aguri Cap. Massimo and George Benham are still only 3 attempts for the lead of the GT3s. And then we've got a couple of fights down below. You've got Marcel on the back of Josh Harper Jones. The LMP2s are quite spread out at the moment. Still fighting throughout the grid. You've still got Marion that continues to battle away, and it's a yellow flag sector 2. But you've got to remember, if a safety car comes out, these drivers will then regroup and go again. But we might have a rain. Let's have a look at the weather. So it's actually getting drier. The track is getting drier. 27.9 now for the track temperature, and the track wetness has gone considerably down. So that is what we want to see. And that is Marcel being overtaken by Tamano, the LMU2 driver. And then the leaders, Massimo and George Benham. Deco's really quick. He's doing a fantastic job at the moment. So I think the LMP2 driver of Marin is actually helping the Ford Mustang here by just breaking the air in front of him. Through the Center S's and down Reto Acosta. The Porsche took a better line there, and that was the Ford Mustang that ran wide. I do wonder if this is the opportunity that George has been waiting for as we come down in towards turn 4. But he's not close enough just yet. What about Razvan on Kevin Estre? Just been overtaken, and now next in the sight is the lime green of Kevin Estre. So the Romanian driver of Razvan, he's going to go for a lunge up the inside. Oh, that was a late move from Razvan. He's got to be careful there. Luckily, Kevin Estre left the space. And that is a great overtake from Razvan Doplicanu, the Romanian driver. Will Kevin Estre try and return the favour as we come down in towards turn 4? He will. Down the inside we go. Razvan leaves the space, but he defends the position, and that is move done. Yellow flag sector 2. Hopefully we see a green one shortly. So Marcel Fuchs tracking down Josh Harper-Jones. Still the yellow flag waves. I do wonder if there's an issue here. Green flag, there we go, track clear. The aerial shots around this circuit look fantastic. We're nearly at the halfway point. And Razvan is moving through the grid pretty rapidly now. A second in front. So we know Marcel's a good driver. When he's on form, he is on form. So will this be the opportunity to make the move? They've got the race leader coming through. And the race leader of Deco Slater will move on through. And he makes light work of the back markers. And that is Stefano that has been overtaken by Emmanuel Hamilton. And then comes the LMP2s, and that might give the opportunity back to Stefano. And the two Italian drivers are going head to head. As we head down in towards turn 1, the BMW driver will take the outside line on Stefano. You've got the LMP2s, and that is very optimistic from the LMP2 driver. And one moves aside, and we've got a group of drivers. And there goes the green car of Kevin Estre as well. And then Richard, who's only a tenth behind Kevin Estre. He'll come down the inside, the Slovakian driver, through turn 4. And Kevin has been demoted to P7 as Richard moves up to P6. And that is Massimo, still 3 tenths in front of George Benham. What about Marcel Fuchs on Josh Harper-Jones through turn 14? He did nearly go into the GT3s. And Marcel Fuchs will have to go the long way round through turn 1. And the Ferrari driver and the Porsche driver lets go of the brake pedal. And he'll go wide. And here comes the Ferrari of Marcel. He brakes to undercut him. Through goes the LMP2. The Porsche driver rides the curb. The full course yellow is out. Something must have happened. And they both brake for the full course yellow. After 26 minutes of racing, the track is neutralised. And we need to find out what has happened. So everybody can just calm down, everything can just simmer before we turn back up the heat. So the full course yellow is out. There was no need for a full course safety car, luckily. But I do wonder if we will see a full course safety car at any point in this race. So Jean Wagner is out, Conor Garrett is out, Jamie Brass is out. And Marin Kitagawa is still plodding along with Marek and Donovan. Marek chooses to pit. Let's just have a look at the weather. Has the track got drier? It's actually stayed the same, but the track temperature has gone down from 27.8 to 27.6. Green flag and we are back racing. Did George get the better start than Massimo into turn 12 as he rides the apex? That was a really good entrance into that chicane. As we ride on board with the Porsche. And look at this, Arnie on Kai Elshoff, and they've got to be careful as well with the LMP2 driver. He just flashes and says, I'm here guys. I might open up the door for Arnie Brandhorst to try his luck on Kai Elshoff. And McLaren currently in P6. Deco Slater 23 seconds clear. That is Tamamo cross into the pit lane. I tell you what, right? If you think about it, Massimo and George have literally been separated by a couple of attempts for the whole race. Like literally the whole race, they have been like this. What you are watching now has just been the whole race. There's not been a time that the drivers even stepped outside of that 1 second, which is actually quite remarkable if you think about it. There's been 30 minutes of racing and the drivers haven't been separated by more than 1 second at any point in this race. Really interesting. So, Arnie and Kai up towards turn 10. So here's an LMP2 out of the pit lane. Only 2 attempts behind Kai Elshoff. And we've still got Marcel. 3 attempts behind as he's being flashed there. Josh, yellow sector 1, that is Stefano. No, it's not Stefano, my apologies. I get confused with the yellow and the blue. I keep forgetting that the blue is the GT3s. You know what, the racing, the opening 10 minutes was a bit disastrous, but since then it's been really nice to watch. The drivers have done a really good job. Some nice racing. What about Arnie now? A 10th and a half behind Kai as they come out of turn 12 and 13, and the Porsche driver is close. There's a yellow flag sector 1 again. So Arnie in the Porsche. And he's still, it just looks like that Ferrari is carrying so much straight line speed. It's really difficult to get close to him. George Benham patiently waiting, as he has done for 32 minutes now. Yellow sector 2, yellow sector 1. It's always difficult when you're trying to have your own battle and you've got drivers trying to overtake as well. Oh, look at this! A switchback from Arnie Brandhorst in the Porsche. But yet again, the McLaren holding on into turn 12. Will Arnie finally get this overtake that he has been building up to lap after lap? Into the slipstream goes Arnie Brandhorst. And again, the McLaren is just so quick down the straight that it's really difficult for him to get close enough to go for that overtake down in towards turn 1. And the Dutchman of Kai Elshoff again fending off any attacks, but he got the better exit here now. Arnie Brandhorst down Retta Aposta, and we've got a couple of LMP2s that are scrapping behind. That is Richard and Alan, and that is a GT3 that spins in. Alan Borowski is around on track. Kevin Estre goes through, and Alan will not be happy about that. Massimo is 2.5 seconds behind George Benham. What has happened to the Mustang driver? He was leading. He was doing a fabulous job, and now he's nearly 3 seconds behind George Benham. Well, that was not in the plans. And look at this. Oh, and that is Jesus, Marin. And down the inside goes Arnie Brandhorst. And with the help of the LMP2s, the Porsche driver has made the overtake. And it looks like Kai Elshoff is just flashing there to say, no, I didn't like that one. Marcel still clinging to the back of Josh Harper-Jones. So we know that Kai Elshoff is so quick down the straight, and it's showing again here. He will go out wide. Will he cut it back up the inside of the Porsche driver? He needs to get a good exit. And then down Retta Aposta, but the Porsche driver looks like he might just have a little bit more in the tank. As Marin Kitagawa goes through on Donovan. And he goes later on the brakes, and Marin cuts back up the inside, and they touch again. But Marin is through. An outstanding overtake from Marin, who nearly goes into the back of the GT3. And he's got to be a bit patient here. And they do collide. Marin's trying to rush. That GT3 goes deep and cuts up the inside. Does Marin Kitagawa, the Porsche driver, pulls to the side and says, I don't want to have any part in this. Kai Elshoff, remember, still has that straight line speed. So our forwards 25 seconds behind Deco Slater. Oh, and Marin is caught back up to Donovan. And Massimo is clawing his way back, now just under 2 seconds to George Benham. As the night has set here in Interlagos. You can see the weather. The track temperature going down even more. And the track's still drying out. Oh, and he's going to try out the inside. Oh, and then... Oh, wow. What are we doing? It is just crazy when you see some racing. You know what? I don't mind incidents, but it's so avoidable. So Kai Elshoff and Arnott going at it for round 2. Up towards turn 10. Just as we rode on board with Marcel, he was trying to go for the overtake on Josh Harper-Jones, and he's very close here as he comes down Renzo Buster, practically pushing him through. Moves to the right, and it's a sprint race down towards turn 4. Will the Ferrari get the move done, or will the Porsche hang on around turn 4? Side by side go these two phenomenal drivers of Josh Harper-Jones and Marcel Fuchs. Not a thing to separate them as they head up towards turn 6. The Porsche goes wide and Marcel stays in P4 as the yellow flag is out in sector 2. So yellow flag is waving once more as the Ferrari just cuts the apex. Green flags, we are back racing again. So Donovan has got the overtake, and now we'll go for the overtake on Josh Harper-Jones. That is one hell of a line there from Donovan. And Marin is backing back up to him. Stefano, Emmanuel Hamilton, Marek Odlos. In that Titan Core Racing livery draped over that Ferrari. Jones, here comes Marin, and he will filter through and away from Josh. Richard, 20 minutes to go. He's currently in P5. I do think he is leading the championship. Let me just check. So Marek leads the GT3s and Tamamo leads the LMP2s by 12 points to Richard Tajciak. So Tamamo, who is down in P12, and Richard, who's in P5, that can make a massive difference in the point swing here. No, that is huge. That could potentially move Richard into the lead of the championship with one race to go, I think it is. As Donovan has lost the position again as Marion goes through. And Donovan just needs to be careful as he goes through on Josh. Find that a lot of the drivers are now starting to catch back up to the other drivers. Into the pit lane goes Peterson. And that is Marin being overtaken by Aguri Cap. So we've not had to see the safety car once in this race. Oh, there's a driver. I think that's Donovan. That's no, it's Oh no, sorry, it's Jamie in the front lane. It looks like he's on track. So I hope you have enjoyed the race so far. Only 17 minutes of this 1 hour race to go. And they're not too far off the front two. I hope this doesn't cause problems when we catch up. So I do wonder what happened to Massimo. He's now 6 seconds behind. Caught up to Massimo in that GT3, so he'll try to avoid contact. Inside. Now here comes Tamamo, and I think Donovan as well. Sorry guys, by the time we get to the end of the race, I'll start to get tired, only because I've been up since 4 a.m. I've been since half 5 to, you know, anyway, I just got tired. I am looking forward to the 4 hour of Le Mans though, with a real trophy being handed out to the winners of that event. To it, and that is Marin that will overtake the GT3 race leader. He goes up the inside. And Marin not through just yet. And then there goes Marin. There's another LMU2 driver. He's trying to get through. Kai Elshoff. Look how close he is. That McLaren, the only good thing is he's got more straight line speed, so whenever we go down the back straight or down the pit straight, he tends to get closer and closer to Arnie. But Arnie's a very good driver. He's won multiple races here in Formula 7. And I'm sure he'll win multiple more. Here comes Marcel, the Ferrari on the Porsche, and the number 888 driver will have to defend going into turn 1. We know he likes to go later on the brakes, but this time he sticks to the apex, and that might be the better thing as the Ferrari driver just backs out, and that is beautiful racing as the Porsche driver goes back ahead of Marcel Fuchs, and Josh and Marcel showing exactly how you go wheel to wheel through sector 1. Now, can the Ferrari of Kai Elshoff and Arnie Brandhorst in the other Porsche do the same thing? As Kai is 4 tenths behind, but we know he's got that straight line speed as they come out of turn 3 and down towards turn 4. He is going to claw that gap back, but it's not going to be close enough to try and overtake, or is it? Down the inside of turn 4. And it is not close enough. It nearly was. So Donovan in the LMP2 has spun with Tamamo Cross onto the grass, and the Ford Mustang of Massimo nearly collides with them. Yellow flags waving and drama. Oh, and he comes back on track there, does Donovan, near another LMP2 driver. They are getting very close to each other. I think that is, it's not Kevin Estre. I don't know who that is. Oh, it's Richard. No, it's not. What am I on about? Oh, they've collided again. It's Tamamo. It's Tamamo Cross and Donovan Daysell. And here's the other LMP3. Sorry, the LMP2. It's getting very, very worrying out there. So Tamamo is slowing down. Oh, he's slowing down to let the other driver through with Deco Slater. So Deco says thank you very much. And that is Massimo. Massimo is coming out of the pit lane. So he has pitted and he's come out just behind Mikhail Brits in P4. Kai Elshoff not able to go for that move up the inside as he did on the very last lap. Just under 12 minutes remain here in Brazil for round 7. That's a great camera angle. And there is a driver around. Oh, it's Tamamo. Oh, what's happened to Tamamo? He's gone. Has he glitched out? He's wearing that invisible cloak. Deco Slater moving through. He looks so quick, doesn't he, Deco? Oh, look at this. Massimo, Arnie and Mikhail Brits. Down Retta Aposta towards turn 4. The Ford Mustang who's just come out of the pit lane. He's got to try and get the overtake on Mikhail Brits. He does. Side by side they go. The Ford Mustang and the Porsche. And Arnie Brandho's watching on, and so is Kai Elshoff. It's 2x2s. And Mikhail is the driver in front at the moment. And the Ford Mustang turns in a little bit early. Massimo just colliding with Mikhail Brits, and now Massimo is in front. And here comes Arnie. Mikhail back on the inside, and here comes Kai Elshoff. 5 drivers now with the LMP2 getting involved. And that is Massimo that nearly loses it. Wow, he did a fantastic job to hold on to that. It looked inevitable. It looked like it was all over. But he corrected himself and carried on. Now Kai, who managed to get through on Arnie Brandhorst, will have to defend against the Porsche and attack against Mikhail in front. So under the night sky here in South America, remember Massimo on them fresh tyres after pitting, and the Ford Mustang driver later on the brakes in towards turn 1, and he is through, and Arnie is down to P7. Yellow sector 2. I think that was Arthur Woods. No, sorry, it wasn't. It was Josh Harper Jones and Marcel Fuchs, I think. And Kai Elshoff is going to try his luck as the Porsche runs slightly wide. And the Dutchman might get the move done finally. Oh, and he's round. Kai Elshoff's rounded into the wall. So Kai Elshoff, all that hard work undone in the blink of an eye. Marcel Fuchs into P2. George Benham still leading. Josh Harper-Jones in P3. On for a podium. Where does this leave Massimo? There's the LMP2 driver. Moves on through. Oh, and that is Kai Elshoff that's round again. Oh, and he's lost his rear wing. That's why he's struggling. When he went into the barrier, he lost his rear wing. Richard is into the pit lane. Through goes Deco in that burger livery. Arnie, who was overtaken by Massimo a couple of laps ago. There goes Deco Slater into the pit lane. Green flag. So just under 7 minutes remaining in this race. So Deco on his outlap. And Arthur Woods is also into the pit lane now. Kai Elshoff is into the pits. Marin Kitagawa, after everything that's happened to him in this race, he is still on for some decent points in P9. That's what I'm talking about just carrying on and just continuing in the race will potentially get you some decent points in the championship. And have a look at the fastest laps in the LMP2s and the fastest laps in the GT3s, as that is Mikhail Brits finally being overtaken by Massimo through turn 2, and Arnie Brandhorst is going to join in on the action. So down Retta Aposta. He's looking for a way through. Arnie will get the better exit. And the number 007, driver of Arnie Brandhorst, will now attack the Porsche of Mikhail Brits. So it looks like Massimo, unbelievably, is going to lose out on a podium here, you know. So 4.5 minutes to go. Wow, the Porsche sliding on the curb. And it gets the better exit out of turn 13. Up the inside, wheel to wheel go the two Porsche drivers. Yellow flag sector 1, but through goes Arnie and into the pit lane goes Mikhail Brits. So into the pit lane, Josh Harper-Jones down into P3 as Marcel Fuchs up to P2. This is a good race for Marcel. The top 3 have less than 5% battery. Wow. They are going to struggle to get to the end of this race, that's for sure. Let's see if we can bring up the battery. Let's have a look. So into the pit lane goes Marcel. Into the pit lane goes Josh Harper-Jones. With a couple of minutes to go, they're into the pit lane. So we can have a look at positional changes. So up 5 places is Emmanuel, up 3 is Mikhail Brits, up 3 is Arthur Woods, up 4 is Nicholas Duncan. I'm just seeing if I can find if they've got energy. So 1 minute and 40 to go. Deco Slater to Arthur Woods to Aguri Cap. Then you've got George Benham to Massimo to Arnie Brandhorst in P3. On the track, quite spread out now. Looks like we have our drivers all set, unless they make a mistake. I think that will be it. The race is pretty much neutralised. Interlagos did not disappoint. Deco Slater with a phenomenal performance in this Grand Prix. Arthur Woods in the Audi, and then Aguri Cap. We've got the GT3s of George Benham who leads, being overtaken by the LMP2. And then you've got Massimo Martinello in P2 and Arnie Brandhorst in P3. All on for a podium. None of the other drivers into the pit lane. So the checkered flag has waved, that will be it. Deco Slater, Arthur Woods and Aguri Cap are on their final lap. What a race it's been. Richard in the LMP2 will come on through. And this is the LMP2 driver of Richard around the outside of George Benham for the overtake. And Deco Slater is going to come through, and Deco Slater wins in the LMP2 here in Brazil. Arthur Woods is going to take P2. Aguri Cap is going to take P3 unless they run out of energy now. Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to run out of energy. Josh Harper-Jones! Oh, he's through. Yeah, that is it. I thought he'd spun it, but he's not. He's hit the checkered flag. That is it for Josh Harper-Jones. And George Benham is going to come through, and George Benham is going to win here in Interlagos. The Porsche driver with an outstanding race. Marcel Fuchs takes P4, Arnie Brandhorst in P3, Massimo Martinello will take a podium. George Benham coming through. It is Deco Slater in the LMP2 and George Benham in the GT3s that win here in Brazil. Well, not a single safety car needed today. Brandhorse saved so much fuel. Yeah, I'm not sure how he did that or anything. I'm not, to be honest, mate. I'm really not sure how it works because I've never raced on a LMU. I've only ever done commentary. I hope you guys enjoyed the new overlays. It took me a couple of hours just before we did the race tonight to do all of the overlays, so I hope he's enjoyed it. Arnie taking the podium. There we have it. So what a race. There we have it. That is it. All done and dusted once again for another race. Hey, thank you, mate. Appreciate it. I'm glad you like them. It just makes it so much better for you guys. So much info, so much data, so much stuff we can work with. So yeah, there we have it, guys. We will be back next week. And then I think it's another break the week after, but I'm not sure. Remember to tune in on Monday for our multi-class hypercar and GT3s. And if you want to be a part of Le Mans Ultimate here in Formula 7 Racing, just come and join with the Discord link and we will get you on the grid. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I really appreciate all of the support. Well done to all of the drivers. You did an outstanding job. Thank you to Salute once more for running everything in the background as well as holding on for the safety car. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. And I will see you on the next one.